Hey everyone, Rarity Dash here. Time for another Patron sponsor, Blind Reaction. And this one comes to you courtesy of Michael French, who has requested that I react to the rest of New in Town by John Mulaney. So yeah, this is that comedy special that I started last month, and yeah, it was pretty good so far. Now we're going to watch the rest, and hopefully it'll be good as well. And I guess between the two halves, we had a little bit of extra John Mulaney in the form of my reaction to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, where he had a part as Spider-Ham, which was fairly entertaining. But now I'm going to see the rest of this comedy special, and hopefully that'll be entertaining as well. Anyway, here we go.
Where was I? I'm not gay, but I might be, and I have a girlfriend, and she's a female person.
I mean, that's usually how that works.
Very well. I love her very much, and so a few months ago, she was like, okay, it's going well, so now I should meet your parents, because that's what people do when a relationship is going well. They meet each other's parents. And I've never understood that.
Oh.
I've never been with my girlfriend and thought like, oh, honey, tonight is going great. But do you know what would make it perfect? Charles and Ellen Mulaney.
Wow.
Come on. Let's get them in the mix. We've been going pretty hot and heavy lately. I think it's time we bring in two older Catholic people.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's a female, and then I had
Yeah,
all these
we've
friends
established
that are
this.
female. So when I started dating her, I was like, oh, great. They'll all get along.
Yeah.
No.
Not quite how it
At the
works.
beginning. I don't want to make any generalizations about women because I don't know shit about women, but this is one thing I've noticed in my own personal experience is that I think women can be friends with each other, but I think it can be tricky sometimes when you try and force women to hang out with each other. I think that sometimes doesn't work. Like, I don't think you could never put together a heist of women. Does that make sense? Ocean's 11 with women wouldn't work.
Well, aren't they trying that?
Because two would keep breaking off to talk shit about the other nine.
Or did that already happen?
Or not even talk
I
shit.
know
Just
it was
say weird,
floated out there.
passive-aggressive things while they break into the casino. Just be like, "Oh, I love how you."
It's probably not
don't
going to
wear
work,
anything."
but I don't know.
My girlfriend's wonderful, though. I listen to everything my girlfriend says. I don't mean she bosses me around. I just listen to everything she says because before I had a girlfriend, I never had someone who's always standing next to me who can just point out obvious things that are happening.
Okay.
Like, we'll be in a restaurant, and my girlfriend will be like, you ordered your food an hour ago. It should be here by now. And I'm like, yeah, it should. It's like having a lawyer for everyday life. She'll be like, the bus driver shouldn't talk to you that way. And I'm like, no, he shouldn't. Before I had a girlfriend, I had no standard for how I should be treated as a human being. You could do anything to me. I was just like a young Motown singer. I was just shiny and dumb and easy to trick. Like, oh man, you gonna give me a whole $100 for all of my songs? Where do I sign, Mr. Berry Gordy?
Wow.
And now when I'm not with my girlfriend, you can still do anything to me. I will tolerate any treatment. Like, I travel alone sometimes, you know, and I'll put up with anything. You know? Like, I'll book a ticket on some garbage airline. You know, I don't want to name an actual airline, so let's just make one up. Let's call it, like, Delta Airlines. So I'll book a ticket on Delta Airlines. And I'll show up at the airport, and I go,
Not a real
"Can I get on
airline.
the plane now, please?" And they go, "No, it's delayed 9 hours."
Wow.
And I go, okay, and then I go to the bathroom. And then I come out of the bathroom, and I go, any updates? And they go, yeah, we took off while you were in the bathroom. Because we hate you. Now take this meal voucher that doesn't work. Go, fetch. And I go, okay, and I go over to the Wolfgang Puck Express, and I go, can I have a sandwich, please? And they go, no! And I go, okay. And they go, you're a little fat girl, aren't you? And I go, no. And they go, say it. And I go, I'm a little fat girl. And then I go over to the Delta Help Desk, which is an oxymoron, and I go, can I please go home on an airplane? And they go, no. In fact, we're going to frame you for murder.
Okay.
You're going to go to jail
This escalated?
for 30 years. And I go, why are you doing this to me? And they go, because we're Delta Airlines, and life is a fucking nightmare. But with my girlfriend, she would just be like, let's see if Southwest has any flights. So it's better.
That was great.
My girlfriend is a Jewish woman, which is I did on purpose. That sounded creepy. I don't mean like, I got one. I mean like I'm not Jewish, but I've always really liked Jewish people. I just like them a lot. And I really like dating Jewish women. They're great. Because like I think a lot of problems that people have in relationships are with communication because guys don't know what women are thinking. And with Jewish women, you do not have to guess what they are thinking. They will tell you. Yeah, this is gonna get playfully anti-Semitic, so just allow it to go there.
Okay.
I'll get in trouble, you won't. I really do mean this, though. I really admire that Jewish people, in my own personal experience, are very like upfront with their feelings. You know, they're very vocal about their thoughts and feelings, and I think that's really admirable. You know, I'm Irish, and Irish people, they don't tell you a thing. Irish people keep it so bottled up. You know, like the plan with Irish people is like, I'll keep all my emotions right here, and then one day I'll die. Like in Ireland, it's like, your boy has died, and it's like, all right, bury the boy, do it, bury the boy. Bury the boy. Irish people don't want comfort. Look at a sweater made in Ireland. It's like a turtleneck made out of Brillo pads. I used to date Gentile women, and I dated this girl. She'd just stare out the window all day long, and I'd be like, what's wrong? She'd be like, you wouldn't even understand if I told you. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that? My Jewish girlfriend, I don't have to guess what's wrong. She comes in the room, and she's like, my stomach hurts! And then we can move on from there. That's what I mean. She's very focused. She's very in the moment, you know? And that's a good thing in a significant other. She's very present. Jews don't daydream because folks are after them, and they got to stay sharp, you know what I mean? They have to be there. They haven't let their minds wander since Egypt. They just stay sharp. You go, who's that? Who are you? What's that? Put that down. What's that over there? Don't do that. I'm Irish, I keep things very bottled up, and I don't drink, which is not what you're supposed to do when you're Irish.
Yeah.
I don't drink. I used to drink, and then I drank too much, and I had to stop. That surprises a lot of audiences because I don't look like someone who used to do anything.
Wow.
I look like I was just sitting in a room in a chair eating saltines for like 28 years, and then I walked right out here. But I did. I used to drink a lot, and then I stopped. I don't know if anyone here is thinking about quitting drinking, but you need to know two things if you're thinking about quitting drinking. The first is that when you stop drinking and you still go to parties where people are drinking, they will have no idea what to offer you. Like, once people start drinking for the night, they forget everything that isn't alcohol. Like, I'll show up at a party, and they'll be like, hey, everybody, all right, we got Coronas in the fridge, and oh, hey, Mulaney, would you like an old turnip that we found in a cabinet? Would that be good for you? Would you like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what he wants.
Or my
Old
girlfriend
turnip.
left a Nouveau ring in the fridge. Would you want that? Would that be good for you? I know you don't drink. Also, if you quit drinking, you're about to lose the best excuse you've ever had in your life, which is, I'm really sorry about last night. I was just so drunk. That is a get-out-of-jail-free card that you don't even realize you have until you lose it. I can't say that anymore. I can never be like, I'm really sorry about last night. I was just so drunk. Now I have to be like, I'm really sorry about last night. It's just that I'm mean and loud.
That doesn't work as well.
Probably will happen again. Now, I quit drinking because I used to drink too much, and then I would black out, and I would ruin parties.
Okay.
Or so I'm told. When you do that enough, when you black out drinking and you do crazy things, you kind of become like Michael Jackson. Like any story anyone says about you might be true, and even you don't know by the end. I saw an interview with Michael Jackson before he died, and they were like, is it true you bought the Elephant Man's bones? And he was like, I don't know, because how could he keep track of that? So I would hear stories about
I think he did.
Here's a story I once heard about me. I guess I was 20 and I was at a party at someone's house, and I'd blacked out drinking, and someone came out of one of the rooms at this party holding like an old antique bottle with some liquid in it, and they said, "Hey, is this whiskey or perfume?" And apparently, I grabbed it, drank all of it, and said, "It's perfume." And it was.
Oh. Well?
Another story I heard about myself.
Probably not good for you.
This one happened in high school. We had this teacher in high school whose kid went to our high school. His name was Mr. McNamara, and his son Jake McNamara went to our high school. He was a sophomore when I was a senior, so he was 2 years behind me. And Mr. McNamara was an asshole. And one weekend, he and his wife decided to leave town, which you should never do if you're an asshole. And Jake McNamara decided to throw a party at the teacher's house. Hooray! And everyone around
this
town
can only
heard
end
about
well.
it, and we all got up individually and thought, okay, let's go over there and destroy the place. I walked into this party. Everyone I had ever met was there, and everyone was drinking like it was the end of the world. People were drinking like it was the Civil War and a doctor was coming to saw our legs off. It was totally unsupervised. We were like dogs without horses. We were running wild. I walked down to the basement. They had a pool table in the basement. One dude took a running start and threw his body onto the pool table and broke it in half.
Wow.
Another kid found out which room was Mr. McNamara's and went upstairs and took a shit on his computer. So the party was going great.
Yeah.
I'm standing in the basement, and I'm holding a red cup. You've seen movies. And I'm standing there, and I'm holding a red cup, and I'm starting to black out. And I guess someone said, like, something, police.
Oh.
And in a brilliant moment of word association, I yelled, "Fuck the police!" Fuck the police!
Very original.
Everyone else joined in. 100 drunk white children yelling, "Fuck the police," with the confidence of guys who have like already been to jail and aren't afraid of it anymore. You know, that like, "I serve my nickel, you come and take me" confidence. But white children. The reason someone had said something police was because the police were there.
Yeah.
So a Chicago police officer walked down the stairs and got to the bottom in the basement and looked out over a sea of drunk toddlers yelling, "Fuck the police," in his face. And he was almost impressed. He was like, wow. And then he leaned into his walkie-talkie and went, "Get the paddy wagon." And my friend John, who is now a father, this man now has a baby, he grabbed a 40, smashed it on the ground, and yelled, "Scatter!" And everyone ran in a different direction. We all ran in different directions. It was like that scene in Ratatouille when the humans come in the kitchen and all the rats go in different ways. We all ran in different directions. I ran into the laundry room and I jumped up on the washing machine and I crawled out through a window into the backyard, and now I'm running through the backyard and there was this big chain link fence and I thought, I've never climbed a fence that high before. And then I woke up at home.
Oh.
On Monday, I went to school because that's what we did back then. And I'm walking into the school building, and who do I see but Jake McNamara?
Oh.
He says to me, "Hey, were you at my party on Saturday?" And I said, "No." You know, like a liar.
Yeah?
And he said things got really out of hand. Someone broke the pool table. Someone took a shit on my dad's computer. But the worst thing, he says, the worst thing is that someone stole these old antique photos of my grandmother.
Oh.
And my parents are freaking out about it. And I had that thought that only blackout drunks and Steve Urkel can have.
Yeah. Did I do that?
Did I do that?
Mm-hmm.
I figured, no, I wouldn't have done that. But I was never sure until 2 years later.
Oh.
Relax. I'm playing video games with this kid named Alex that we also went to high school with. 2 years later, we've graduated by now. We're playing video games for a couple hours. And then Alex says to me, hey, come here, I want to show you something. And he takes me into his bedroom, and then he takes me into a side room off of his bedroom. Never a good thing to have.
Yeah?
He shows me a tiny room that is covered wall to wall in stolen antique photos from different people's parties over the years.
And
I said, why? Why do you do this?
What happened to this guy?
And Alex said, because it's the one thing you can't replace.
Did he become a serial killer or something? Like, what
That's
the hell?
That story, but how fucked up is that, right? That's crazy. So I don't drink anymore.
I see.
It's weird, you know. I miss it sometimes because drinking can kind of calm your nerves. And I live in New York now, and sometimes you see things that can make you anxious. You'll see troubling things out on the street. I was coming into my apartment building one night, and I saw in front of my building a wheelchair knocked over on its side with no one in it.
Oh.
That's a bad thing to see.
Yeah.
Something happened there. You hope it was a miracle. Probably not. Probably something worse.
Yeah.
And I don't like arguments. Some people like to argue, you know? They think it's like an art. I don't like it. I think it's because really ordinary arguments can get really dramatic really quickly. Like, I was talking to a friend recently, and I told him that I didn't think I believed in the death penalty, and my friend said to me, oh, so you're telling me that if you saw Hitler walking down the street, you wouldn't kill him? That wasn't what I was telling you. But all right. Let's talk about this entirely new topic. What would I do if I saw Adolf Hitler just walking down the street? Well, first off, I wanted to know, what did my friend mean? Did he mean that I see a guy in, like, the military outfit with the little mustache? Because then I would assume that that's someone dressed as Hitler.
Yeah?
I'm not going to kill that guy. I'm not going to kill an actor and ruin Indiana Jones 5 just because I don't understand costumes. Or does he mean that I'm walking down the street and I see like an old man who I think might be Hitler based on my memory of what Hitler looks like? I'm not going to kill that guy either because I am often wrong. I'd murder him, and then people would run up and be like, whoa, you just killed an old man. And I'd be like, he looked like Hitler. And they're like, yeah, a little.
You gotta be sure about these things.
I have a lot of strange interactions on the street. Years ago, I was walking down the street, and a homeless guy came up to me. And he walked up to me and he pushed me like that. He pushed me in the chest. And then he said these things in this order. He pushed me and he said, excuse me, I am homeless.
Oh.
I am gay. I have AIDS.
Oh, okay.
I'm new in town. You're gonna close with new in town?
I think I've heard
That
this
is
joke
not the
before.
most
Was this
dramatic
used in
thing
something?
that you just said. As they say in the movie Jerry Maguire, you had me at AIDS.
It's still good,
Here's
but
how I would have ordered those things. I would have said, excuse me,
Yeah, this
I'm new in town,
feels familiar.
and it gets worse.
wow.
Didn't that guy practice his, like, pitch it all in the mirror that morning? And just figure out what he was gonna say, you know, just like in the morning, just be like, all right, what am I gonna do today? What am I gonna do? All right, I walk up and say hello. No, that's too subtle. I'm gonna push him. I'm gonna push him. And I'm gonna say, I'm new in town. No,
That's the name of the special too, so that's great.
save it. Build to that. All right, I gotta walk up, so I'll push him. I go, I have AIDS. No, that's too strong. All right. I'm gonna walk up to him. I'm gonna push him. I will start with the fact that I am homeless, as that is a given. Then for backstory, I will pepper in the fact that I am gay. Which I know it's tough for gay youths on the street, but that's not like a reason for money. You can't be like, hey, would you help me out? I'm very gay. I'd like a few dollars. I always love how he phrased it, by the way. He didn't say I'm living on the street. He said, I'm new in town. Like it was intriguing. Like he wanted me to set him up with somebody. Like I have a friend who's like, there's no single guys left in Manhattan. And I'm like, I know someone who's new in town. What are 3 other things about him?
Great
Just
stuff.
too anxious for a lot of things. I get very nervous all the time. Not even about like major life things. Just like about in everyday situations. Like this is my regular speaking voice. But if I'm in a public bathroom and someone knocks too suddenly on the stall door, I go into a whole different speaking voice, which is, hey, someone's in here.
Yeah.
Someone's in here. So if they're gonna be like, I think there's a carnival barker in there. I think someone's trying to drum up business for a carnival. I decided to do something about all this anxiety recently. I decided I was gonna try and get a Xanax prescription. I don't know if anyone here has ever tried Xanax, but it's fantastic. Very muted claps for Xanax. You don't really get woos, it's more like, yeah. I didn't know how to get a Xanax prescription, though. Drugs like that are tricky sometimes. But I talked to a friend of mine, and he said, hey, I did this. He said that he had a regular doctor's appointment, and at the end of it, he said to his doctor, hey, doctor, sometimes I get nervous on airplanes. And the doctor just wrote him a Xanax prescription.
Okay.
Like, yeah, that's the type of lowbrow shit I'm looking for. I'll take your advice, friend I've never listened to before. So I go to a clinic, and I go in, and I'm just gonna go in for, a regular type of checkup, and at the end, I'll ask about Xanax. So I get to the front desk, and they have a why are you here sheet. And I wanna pick something that will get me in and out really quickly. And I look down, and I see frequent urination.
Oh.
And I was like, perfect. That'll be a super quick visit, I'll just be like, hey, sometimes I pee a lot. And the doctor will be like, me too, crazy, right? And I'll be like, I get nervous on airplanes. So I checked off frequent urination, and I sat down in the waiting area, and I waited for 3 hours. I finally go back to the observation room, and in the observation room, there is a male nurse standing there, and he has a Batman sticker on his stethoscope, a Batman necklace, and a Batman watch. He was kind of moving around the whole time, he was just like, all right, I am too blessed to be stressed. Let's do it. What are you allergic to besides work? And then he'd take something and he'd throw it over his shoulder and be like, beats working. Like all of his jokes were very anti-work, which is not always what you want from a healthcare professional. The doctor comes in the room and the doctor looks at my chart and he says, oh, you're here for frequent urination. How many times a day are you urinating? And I tried to think of a number that would warrant a doctor visit. So I said 11. And that was too many times to say.
Yeah.
The doctor looks at me and says, you're peeing 11 times a day. Then you may have something wrong with your prostate. So, what we need to do, some of you are ahead of me.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly how he phrased it, but the gist of it was, hey, if this visit is to continue, I'm going to stick part of my hand up your ass. And I didn't know what to say. Because I couldn't be like, no, that's okay. I was lying. It was a lie to get drugs. Like a crime. So what I did was, I pulled down my pants, and I walked over to the observation table, and I put my hands down on the observation table like this. And by the way, part of me was like, whatever, You know those days when you're like, this might as well happen? Adult life is already so goddamn weird. So I'm bent over like this on the table, and the doctor comes up behind me and goes, no, not on your hands, on your elbows. And he knocks me down like that. And this is so much worse than this.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I think it's that this has like a little remaining dignity to it. You know what I mean? This is sort of like, oh, stick it in. I am an American. This is like you're leaning over the edge of a cruise ship, and you're like, we are approaching Martinique. He knocked me down to my elbows. Then he stuck his hand in. And you know how sometimes you're like, I bet I know what most things feel like, you know?
Oh.
You just think you'll know. I did not know what this was gonna feel like. And this was the actual sound I made. I went, oh. But I didn't say it. Like it came from my vocal cords, but it was totally involuntary. It was as if a ghost had been trapped in my belly and finally flew out towards the light. And then, when he pulled his hand out, we've gotten to know each other pretty well.
Yeah?
So I will phrase this as delicately as I can. I did not realize that when the doctor pulls his hand out, it feels like you're shitting because the only thing that's ever come out of your butt before has been shit. So, he pulls his hand out, and I thought that I was shitting into his hand. So I yelled, I'm sorry.
Wow.
This is a very routine procedure, by the way, for most doctors. And so far, he's had to deal with, oh, and I'm sorry. And he didn't even let me off the hook, you know? He wasn't like, don't worry, you didn't shit into my hand. He just threw his glove away and was like, ah. And I was about to ask about Xanax, but then he said, all right, your prostate's fine, but we still need to do a blood test. So I pulled up my pants and shuffled away, feeling different.
Wow.
And he yells out into the hall, he goes, hey, we're doing a blood test, get in here. And Batman dances back in, and he's like, all right, we're gonna do a blood test. You look different, let's do it. The doctor left the room, so I'm alone with Batman. I just need this blood test to be over, okay? But first I had to tell Batman something. I said, Batman, look, I'm one of those people who, when you take blood from me, sometimes I can faint. And I was in the waiting area for 3 hours, and I haven't eaten all day, and I'm really worried I'm gonna faint. And Batman said to me, and I'll never forget it, you're not gonna faint. So, I stick my arm out, Batman puts the needle in, I immediately collapse on the ground.
Wow.
I wake up and I am covered in sweat lying on the observation table. I wake up, I open my eyes and I see Batman's face. He's looking at me and he goes, you gotta go! And I said, could I please talk to the doctor though first? Because sometimes I get nervous on airplanes.
Wow.
And Batman said, the doctor's gone! So I got my stuff and I left. The moral of the story is that if you've been nervous your entire life, you should ask your doctor about Xanax, because if you lie to him, he will stick his finger in your ass. And if you do suffer from frequent urination, keep it to yourself. I went to that clinic 2 years later for a different checkup, and as I was leaving, who did I run into but Batman?
Oh.
And he smiled at me, and he was wearing reading glasses to show that time had passed. Thanks very much for listening to me. My name's John Mulaney. You were really fun. Thank you.
What a story. back to this.
He's spilling mustard on his shirt and he's got some papers to deliver. But oh no, he's successful and he's got some really crazy friends. Whoa, new in town.
And a woman. Okay. And none of these people actually showed up in the thing. So I don't even know.
New in town. John Mulaney's new in town. John Mulaney's new in town.
Well, there we go. That was entertaining. That was fun. Yeah, some good jokes in there. Good stuff in general. It's kind of a shame I'd already heard that one one bit about the homeless guy. I think someone just shared that with me, like on its own, and I watched it, which is always a hazard these days, like especially like on the Discord. People will just link me stuff, and I don't really like watching it because I always kind of in the back of my head wonder if this is something that'll get reacted. I mean, some things I could tell it's like not gonna ever come up, but I don't know. So yeah, but even still, I mean, there was a lot here, a lot of stuff, and everything else I hadn't heard before, and I mean that was still funny even the second time. It's just a good bit. But yeah, a lot of great stories in this one. I mean, we got that doctor visit and the party. That might have been my favorite, actually, just because that went in all sorts of directions. And then towards the end, with the friend who had the pictures, just like weird. Like I don't even know. But yeah, he's definitely talented. He definitely has a good routine, and yeah, it's just a funny guy. So definitely deserved to play Spider-Man. I guess, I don't know, but it was fun video, or fun second half of a video. Yeah, maybe even stronger than the first half, I would say. Just a lot of punch to these jokes, and it was overall just a really good time. Anyway, hope you liked the reaction. Let me know if you did, and see you in the next one.